There's this question that we have in investing that is a big dilemma and is a big question in personal finance circles, and that is Roth or traditional, meaning tax free or tax deferred. And this is not a binary decision. It's not a decision based on just one thing. This can be very complex to determine which is going to be best for someone long term. And basically, the decision is just between paying taxes today and getting tax free money later, or paying no taxes today and deferring your taxes to a later date. So I'm going to give you my view of how I feel about Roth versus traditional. And so first off, I want to say Roth should be the answer in most cases. Now, people will make this argument. They'll say, well, if you expect to be in a higher tax bracket later, then you should do Roth. If you expect to be in a lower tax bracket later, then you should do traditional, right? Because the money that you're putting in, you're deferring taxes. So you want to defer taxes to a time when your tax rate is lower with traditional. And if you're doing Roth, you want to get tax-free money when your tax rate is higher later. And that's a logical thought, but they fail to take growth as a vital factor in that equation. Because with tax-free or tax-exempt accounts, Roth accounts, your money, your contributions are tax-free later, but so is the growth of the money. And that's the problem. When you put money into a pre-tax account or a tax-deferred account, then what happens is it's going to grow, but the growth you will end up paying for when you're taking money out. You're going to pay taxes on that growth as well. And with Roth, you just don't have to. Because in most cases, what you're going to see is that especially if you started early, the money that you put into a Roth account or a pre-tax account, any type of account, if you start early, it's going to be a vast majority growth if invested in the correct things once you go to pull it out. And if this is the case, then when you're pulling money out, it's not going to take long to get past your contributions and actually get into the growth money. And so if I don't have to pay taxes on the growth, the money that I didn't even put in there to get tax advantages in the first place, then that would make the most sense, right? So this is my thought and my recommendation as far as Roth and traditional. This is just the way I think about it and the way I plan to do it. The only reason someone should logically choose a traditional over a Roth or tax-free option is if they have very little retirement savings and they are in peak earning years. Because if you are already in peak earning years, well, what does this mean? This means that you are probably paying the most taxes or the highest percentage of taxes that you will ever pay, likely. And so if you're already in that place where you are in peak earning years, then you can be relatively assured that your tax rate is likely to be lower later on or in retirement. And if you know this is the case, then yeah, it would make some sense to go ahead and get a tax break today on my high tax rate and actually have to just pay a lower tax rate later. That would make sense. But in a vast majority of situations, first of all, we don't know what tax rates are going to be. Yes, they are extremely low right now. And so that makes even more the case for Roth, because you're putting in after-tax money you've already paid taxes on. So if your tax rate increases over time, then yeah, you won't have to pay those taxes. It's tax-free money later on. But there's such a risk. I mean, given a political change, an election that that particular candidate wants to do big tax reform, and taxes change a lot. And so if somebody wants to do that, they can. And what will end up happening is you may get your whole strategy flipped on its head because you didn't know what taxes were going to be later on. I can almost guarantee you that those who were saving in the 90s had no idea that taxes would be as low as they are today. So this is a big risk to try to play which side of it you want to be on. Personally, I want to be on the side of tax-free. I don't want to have to pay taxes later, and I don't mind paying taxes now. So just get the taxes out of the way and put the money in, let it grow, and take it out for free later. And that just sounds like a really good plan to me, unless somebody's in that particular situation where it's just obviously more beneficial to put money in a pre-tax account and get those tax breaks now and pay less taxes likely later.